This video is brought to you by the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors and the San Diego Daily Transcript.
Hi everybody, George Chamberlain here, Executive Editor for the Daily Transcript, and it's time for The Scoop, brought to you by the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors. We're recording this on Monday, the 13th of October. Can you believe that? And we're joined, of course, by the president of the organization, Leslie Kilpatrick. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, George. How are you?
Good to see you. Lots of stuff going on. We made it through summer here this year, and it's been an interesting time for your industry, I think.
Yes, it's been a long, hot summer, and in many ways it's been a very interesting summer as the market has definitely settled down and reached what seems to be a pretty steady point of equilibrium.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in just a second, but let's get to the nuts and bolts of the scoop here. Let's talk about sold listings for both single-family, detached, and multifamily.
What's interesting is everything over the previous month is about 2%. So we have the detached down about 2%, the sold listings of attached up 1.9%, so 2%. Sold listings are a decrease on detached of 0.8%, sort of minuscule.
That's year over year.
Year over year.
So, yeah.
And 4% decrease of attached year over year. Our median price, however, is unchanged, which is a very interesting thing to note. And then also we see that it is still higher over a year ago, 4.8 for the detached, and 10% for the attached. What is also interesting is that our inventory level has remained about stable. So the active listings are still at about 3 months of inventory. And the traditional thought was 6 to 7 months of inventory was a quote-unquote normal market. And we're up on the median price detached and attached over a year ago.
It's interesting. You look at some of the national reports. Let's just use the Case-Shiller report, which gets a lot of publicity. San Diego is far and away, of those 20 metropolitan areas that they survey there, it continues to be one of the best performing markets.
And what is also impressive is that we still have about a 40-day market time, which is a very short market time for real estate. I mean, much of my career, you didn't want a listing that wasn't 6 months or a year long because it took that long with marketing and everything else to move the property. Now we're moving real estate fairly quickly if it's well priced.
You know, which brings to mind something you like to talk about, and that's some of the myths about the real estate market. And many people think, well, gosh, it's so hard to get a loan now, and the process is so involved and so much disclosure, it's just not worth going through the whole process. And that, in many ways, deters some people from moving into the marketplace.
Absolutely, and that's very heartbreaking when people are in a situation, because we do know one thing about San Diego: rents are continuing to rise, and we have a supply and demand problem that will keep rents going up. So I think it's critical that people get actual advice from a professional. And as realtors, we can make sure our clients sit down with their lender, their banker, their credit union, find out where they really stand, because there are people that could be in the market that maybe are afraid to even ask.
Well, I mean, if homes are selling in 40 days, that means obviously people have gone through the process probably of either, well, perhaps some all cash, although that's whittling down.
Yes.
Or they went out and got pre-qualified.
Absolutely need to be pre-approved versus pre-qualified, but that's really critical to do that. But the nice thing about having the investors pull back a little bit from the single family and condo market is that now you have a little bit of time to make a good decision and buy the right property for you and your family.
It's in other words, it's still a good time.
A good time to buy is when you can.
Perfectly said, Leslie. You have a big week coming up, and that's recognizing the hard work of real estate professionals. And unfortunately, there's a story out there, not here locally, but a story out there that's rather distressing about the work that you all do.
Real estate is work that puts us in a dangerous position sometimes. And there was this recent tragic death of Arkansas realtor Beverly Carter, and all of us were touched deeply by that. I will tell you, I thought a little bit about bringing stories to you today. This is not unusual, unfortunately. I mean, luckily it's somewhat rare, but it does happen all over the country. It has happened in San Diego. And so we need to be aware as realtors of the dangerous situations we can sometimes put ourselves in. And at SDAR this week, during our Member Appreciation Week, we are having self-defense classes. It's very important for people to have an awareness. I think awareness is the biggest thing, just being aware of your surroundings. But meeting strangers at property, holding open house, having people in your car that you may not even really know that well, all put realtors at danger. So we will have self-defense education. On our website, we will have links ongoing. Even if you're looking at the scoop in 2 months, you will be
right.
able to find the information on realtor safety. And then we should all have conversations with our brokers and our office managers about what are our plans in our office. How do we protect ourselves?
Fortunately, with technology the way it is, you can communicate much faster today than you could a few years ago. But even so, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. And what you're going to do is really educate realtors about how to avoid that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of other stuff going on this week.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun because we do a lot at this association, and I really welcome all our members to come visit us and see what we're doing.
That's great. And all the details are on the website, sdar.com for the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors. Leslie, always good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.